Hello my friends, my name is Rich and welcome to Greatest Rock and Metal. On Greatest Rock and Metal I talk about what are for me the greatest rock albums, bands, gigs of all time, based on listening to thousands of albums and going to hundreds of gigs over many years. Please press the red button to subscribe to the channel. It's free and it's easy to do and it won't take you very long. Thank you very much. Today, another anniversary album. 24th of September 1991, 30 years ago, also released on this day, along with Nirvana's Nevermind and Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger. What's this album? From the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magik. Crazy album title, crazy album, but a quite brilliant album from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. My introduction to the Red Hot Chili Peppers actually came the album before this, the Mother's Milk album. I was watching MTV one day and on came this bass sound and this crazy band playing the song Higher Ground. This was in 1989. I didn't know this was a Stevie Wonder song. I'd never heard much Stevie Wonder, to be honest. So for me, this was a song from this band, and it sounded brilliant. Really loved it, and wanted to find out more about the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Got the Mother's Milk album pretty much immediately, and then dove back into their catalogue a little bit more. Wasn't that keen on the rest of the catalogue, going backwards. But Mother's Milk, really enjoyed the Mother's Milk album. So when 1991 came around and there was a new album on the way, I was there ready for it. A bit of history about Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were formed in Los Angeles in way back in 1983. Anthony Kiedis, the vocalist, Flea, bass player and trumpet player every now and again. Jack Irons on drums and Hillel Slovak on guitar. 3 albums before 1988 and Slovak died of a drug overdose. Jack Irons also quit the same year. So you get 2 new members, and they are Chad Smith on drums and John Frusciante, I think that's how you say it, on guitar. Both of whom are still with the band today, although John has left a couple of times, and but more recently rejoined again. And they made what was kind of a breakthrough album for them with the Mother's Milk album, because prior to that they were pretty much more of a club band, and the Mother's Milk certainly brought them more to an international market, that's for sure. But it was this album in 1991 that really took them to great success, especially because it contained the track Under the Bridge, which became a huge hit single for them. But more about that later. After Blood Sugar, they had a bit of a dip in success. John left for the first time and he was replaced by Jane's Addiction guitarist Dave Navarro for the One Hot Minute album. Now I actually thought One Hot Minute was a pretty good album, but it did move away a little bit from the brilliant amalgamation of sounds that they've made on Blood Sugar by bringing in on Blood Sugar they brought more metal sounds to it, along with the funk and the pop melodies that they had. With One Hot Sugar, because of Dave Navarro's background, they did make an even heavier album, so to speak, with a lot more guitars on there and guitar solos on there, for which of course Navarro is a brilliant guitarist. And they kind of took stock a little bit, and even though they were playing headlining festivals with Navarro, it was felt that their career took a little bit of a dip until the mega selling 1999 album Californication, which was saw the return of John Frusciante and lots of hit singles on that album, and it was a great success for them. Since then, they've remained an arena kind of festival headlining act. They don't produce albums as much now, probably about every 5 years in total. They've got 11 studio albums, and really, this is the one. This is the big one as far as I'm concerned. Most people will point to Californication as being their big album. For me, this is the sound. This is the sound of Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was their 5th studio album. Like I said earlier, a lot heavier than their others, and a lot of that was to do with the producer that they chose, Rick Rubin, who had become famous because of his work with Beastie Boys and Slayer. So there was a lot more heavier sound to this. In fact, the production on this album is absolutely brilliant. The separation of the instruments, the bass and the drum sound immense on this album, and Kiedis' vocal work as well really comes across strongly. Fantastic sounding album, this really is. And the album title itself, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magik, kind of like a perfect summation of the lyrical content of this album. The blood really being associated with the drugs side of the band, which was a thing that's drugs have been very heavily involved in the history of this band and have had a very negative effect on it. And in fact, the song Under the Bridge talked about that. But again, we'll get onto that a little bit later. So, for me, a perfect kind of punk, funk, fury of an album, and really enjoy listening to this, and had it on again today to celebrate the 30th anniversary. Crank it loud. It's got some great tracks on it. And I'll talk about some of my favourite tracks on here in a few minutes, but first, let's take a look at rock albums by the pool. So what are my favourite 4 from Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magik? Well, the first one I would choose is the second track on the album, If You Have to Ask. If you have to ask, you'll never know. Funky motherfuckers will not be told to go wow wow. Crazy ass lyrics, crazy ass song. I don't really know why this is one of my top 4. There's nothing particularly amazing about it. I just think it's a great song. It always puts a smile on my face, and the music puts a smile on your face. That's half the battle. There's nothing particularly standout about it, but I just think it's brilliant. In fact, its craziness and its stupidness of a song is what I like best about it, I guess. I don't know whether it's meant to be a serious song, but when you got the line "funky motherfuckers" in there, surely it can't be. But anyway, Chad Smith on drums and Flea laying down some brilliant rhythm work here, and those two, for me, those two guys, Chad Smith and Flea, are just the standouts on this album. Their rhythm work is awesome. It really is awesome, and it's been, like I said earlier, captured so well by Rick Rubin and his team of engineers and the mixers. They've done a brilliant job on the sound of this album, for sure. It's got a funky ass beat to it. It's got a simple rhythm, and in fact, one of the interesting things about this album for me is John's guitar work is very, very laid back, and it's not really the highlight of the album, and yet it does a great job throughout, just providing a few little simple solos here and there, and great rhythm work from Frusciante throughout as well. The next track I would choose, this is when they start to get really, really heavy compared to their previous work. Suck My Kiss! Probably the heaviest song on here. Again, Flea's bass, really, really powerful. Brilliant drumming from Chad Smith, who throws in some great drum fills throughout this song. And Kiedis as well. His vocal delivery on this is really, really heavy, and we get a simple but effective guitar solo from John. Great song. Next, the standout track as far as I'm concerned. Give It Away. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Really, really love this song. Drum and bass intro to it, and you cannot help but move your body straight away as soon as that drum and bass work starts. And I always, when I hear this song, I always get up and I'm giving it the Flea. I don't know why. With Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, some bands with Rush, you gotta air drum along. With bands like I don't know, Guns N' Roses, you gotta be Slash or Axl giving it large. But with Red Hot Chili Peppers, you've gotta be Flea in front of your mirror for sure. Well, I do anyway. Great bass work on this, and in fact I can close my eyes and I can see Flea in the video. The video for this song, absolutely superb, and one of the reasons why the video they did for this song, one of the reasons why this was such a big selling album for them. Pretty unusual lyrical content. It's about how unselfish it is to give things away. So a little bit of an unusual but interesting lyrical content to go for, and in fact Kiedis, the way he delivers the vocals on this as well, really great work from Kiedis on the vocal delivery. And then comes back to the fourth pick. Well, it's got to be the big hit single, Under the Bridge. And overplayed, yes, but you cannot deny the quality of this song. And I'm not usually a big fan of the ballads, as I've said before, but you know, this is a great ballad, and the lyrical content again from Kiedis, really interesting lyrics about how he felt like a bit of an outsider with other members of the band really into their drugs, and he's trying to stay sober from it. And Under the Bridge is recalling times when he is not able to control the drugs, and he's under the bridge shooting some heroin. So very dark lyrics, very dark song, but a classic song, of course. So there you have it. That's my favourite four from Blood Sugar Baby, 6 Magik. What about seeing the Chili Peppers live? Well, I didn't get to see them on this tour. I got to see them on the next tour, which was at this gig. They were one of the headliners for the Reading Festival in 1994, held at Reading in the UK. Some of the other bands they had on the festival that day, that weekend, sorry, I should say, Cypress Hill, Lemonheads, remember them? Hole! This was Hole, Courtney Love's band, and that was an interesting set from them. I'll talk about that another time. Primal Scream, Manic Street Preachers, some of the bands that over that weekend. But I wanted to see, they were the band I really wanted to see that weekend, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And this was for the One Hot Minute tour, the album that featured Dave Navarro on guitar. And there were actually only 3 songs played from this album at that gig. It wasn't a particularly long gig for a headline show, but it certainly had an impact. I was really excited to see the Chili Peppers, and they did not disappoint me. In fact, nearly half of the set was made up of tracks from Blood Sugar, Sex Magik. Of course, all the big songs were there. They actually opened their set with Give It Away and Suck My Kiss. So it kind of felt a little bit like they'd blown their load early on, because they're the kind of tracks that you'd expect to hear towards the back end of the set. But it's a great start to the set, having those there, and there was, the crowd was going mental, mass sing-along to it, and they did keep their energy levels up throughout the gig. Actually, did a good job at it. The encore was the song "Power of Equality," which I think is the opening track on here. Yeah, opening track on Blood Sugar. That was their encore, and they actually featured helmets, steel helmets with fire flying out of them. So this was way before Rammstein, and a little bit of a nice gimmick there. And they finished with the track "Nobody Weird Like Me" from Mother's Milk, which is a crazy ass weird song, and for some reason Kiedis decided to go for the seemed like he was going for a world record handstand, as he was did this handstand for God knows how many minutes towards the end of the song. A real weird way, nobody weird like him, to end the set, but they did that way. So a perfect festival band, really, and it was a shame that it wasn't a longer set, but they certainly came, saw and conquered, and I had a great time seeing them live for the first time. And of course I've been lucky enough to see them live a few times since then. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on Red Hot Chili Peppers on the 30th anniversary of Blood Sugar Sex Magik. Thank you very much for watching. Please press the red button to subscribe to the channel. It's free, it's easy to do. And remember, as always, we rock!